I've been using the Sigma FP since 2020, and over the last going on 5 years, I've purchased a lot of accessories and add-ons for this camera to get the most out of this camera. Some were worth the purchase, some were not. And so to help you navigate the waters of accessories or add-ons with this camera, I've compiled a list of 10 accessories or add-ons that I think are honestly must have in some scenarios with the Sigma FP. And so with that, let's dive right in talking about the first accessory, and that is the EVF11. The EVF11 is one that hands down I would recommend. There's a couple reasons for that. One, it gives you an EVF, and it's a tiltable EVF, and so already it is very useful. And on top of that, it gives you an additional port for headphone monitoring. While it is a little bit pricey, I do think it's absolutely worth every penny for the Sigma FP. The next accessory to mention is a solid V90 card. Most of the time people are going to shoot with an SSD, but I'll be honest, you can do a lot of damage with a solid V90 card. You can do 8-bit 4K RAW. You can also do 12-bit and higher frame rates in 1080. And so a solid V90 card will help you in those scenarios where you don't necessarily need full 12-bit cinema DNG 4K. You just want to run minimalistic, but also lower your footprint. That is something I would recommend. Now, going along the lines with that, I would look at a solid SSD. Now, this is kind of a no-brainer. This camera really does rely a lot on a solid SSD. Now, I would still recommend a Samsung T5. They are very expensive at this point, but they work the best, in my opinion, with the Sigma FP. But that being said, check out some other videos of some other SSDs that people are using. I think there are some newer options out there that might work really well with the Sigma FP. But again, an SSD, no-brainer. You should definitely buy one. Now, along the lines with an SSD, something that is a must if you're using an SSD or using an external monitor are clamps. Clamps for the Sigma FP are going to save your ports. I'm actually shooting on my original Sigma FP and my port is starting to wear out a little bit. And so I would definitely recommend to check out an HDMI and USB-C clamp. Now, I have one from Small Rig that is discontinued, but XLCS makes a really good one. And there are some other third-party options out there, but I would 100% look into a solid clamp for the Sigma FP for especially the USB-C port. Now, while we're talking about clamps, another thing I would recommend to look at is a solid cage. Cages for the Sigma FP right now are pretty hard to find. I did a review on the XLCS cage. It's a solid cage. I would check that one out. Newer is actually making a Sigma FP cage, which is kind of surprising that they're actually making a new Sigma FP cage. But look at a solid cage for the Sigma FP, not necessarily to protect the camera, but it will give you options as far as mounting things to the camera. Now, along those lines, I would also potentially recommend the Sigma grip. If you want to run ultra minimalistic and have a grip for the Sigma FP, this is one of my favorite accessories for this camera. I think it's like $30 to $40, and so definitely pick one up. But that being said, check out the grip for the Sigma FP. Now, one that is kind of it's not really a must-have, but maybe a strongly recommend and is really for certain scenarios is the MC31 from Sigma. This is their PL to L mount adapter, and it is a little bit pricey, but there's a couple of reasons why I'd recommend it over the competing PL adapters. One is it does sit very snug on the FP, and the foot, when you are using a cage with the FP, does sit flush. And so it's those small details. And on top of that, there is a hole for a screw that you can actually screw in the adapter to the FP so that you can lock it down on the camera even more. And so if you're only really using PL lenses with the Sigma FP, the MC31 gives you the ability to have a solid connection with the Sigma FP to your PL lenses. The next accessory that I'll mention is the JJC remote trigger. This is a remote trigger that you can either have as a wired remote trigger or even a wireless remote trigger, which would be helpful if you're filming yourself using autofocus lenses. Now, it doesn't have a half press shutter option, and so you can't obtain focus and then record. You kind of have to pick and choose which function you want it to have, but it is really helpful if you're filming yourself with autofocus lenses. You can actually start recording on the camera, go to your spot, go to your marker, and actually obtain focus with the wireless connection of the JJC remote trigger. So I would check that one out. The next accessory is going to be an Atomos Ninja 5, because what it does, and just there's a couple of reasons why I would recommend this, and I'll put a link to a video about my experience using Atomos Ninja 5s with the Sigma FP. But the biggest reason is it takes the raw data and converts it to almost like a pseudo log profile or even a real log profile, so that you can accurately see what you're filming on set. And so if you have somebody that needs to check your shot, you don't have to tell them to just trust the exposure tools on the FP. You can actually see what you're filming in real time. And so that is super helpful. Now, talking about software for the Sigma FP, one accessory or add-on or just software to use with the Sigma FP is SlimRaw. If you have not looked into SlimRaw, this is going to save you so much hard drive space. Basically, it takes your Cinema DNG RAW and compresses it down to a size that is a little bit more manageable for long-term storage. This is an amazing software. I use it all the time. If I need to keep the footage on my hard drive, I will compress it down from 12-bit Cinema DNG 4K and those large files to something a little bit more manageable for my hard drive. And then the last accessory is not a flashy one, but it is the Sigma wall charger. This is going to allow for you to keep the camera charged while you're filming. And so if you're filming longer takes with the FP, I don't have it right now and I'm a little bit stressed, or I don't have it plugged in right now and I'm a little bit stressed because this may be a longer take. You may only see 5 minutes, but I may be talking for like an hour. And so I'm a little bit stressed that my battery's gonna die. But having that option, having that accessory can help in those scenarios. Especially the Sigma FP is a great live streaming tool. And so if you want to live stream without having to worry about power, that is an absolute must. And so that's my quick list of 10 accessories or add-ons that are super helpful and help you get the most out of the Sigma FP. Let me know in the comments below, what are some accessories that you're looking at for the Sigma FP? What are some accessories that you're curious about? Maybe I've tested them. Maybe I can give you an opinion on them. Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you all for joining. Wow, that was the most Southern I've sounded in a while. Thank y'all for joining. Thank you all for joining. I'll see you here next time. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Peace. Thank y'all for joining.